What's going on, guys? This is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now in this video, what I thought I would do is talk about the differences in when we're doing projects for condos versus for apartments. I'm actually standing here outside my newest apartment project, so I thought I would give you a tour and talk about those differences so you guys will see exactly how we think about these two different types of projects. So let's go inside and get at it. All right, so welcome inside our newest project. These are brownstone buildings here in Boston that we're fully gut rehabbing and turning into apartments. So as I said in the video, what I wanted to do in this particular video is actually talk about some of the differences I think about when we're doing projects for rentals like these versus condos, which you might have seen on some of my other videos on the channel. So the first big difference that we really think about is architectural layouts and design, right? And the first one of the things we did here, right, is since these are going to be smaller, 600 square foot apartments, and these are going to be 2-bedroom units, we designed them to be with 1 bath, right? Now, if I was going to build these as condos, I probably would try to figure out, I probably wouldn't do a 2-bed, 1-bath layout, right? Because that doesn't typically sell as well in the condo space. But with apartments, it's perfect, right? Because I can maximize my yield with the 2nd bedroom. And that extra 2nd bathroom, even though it would be nice, it's too tight of a space and it's not really gonna get me that additional rent that we need. Second thing I think about as we kind of enter into this part of the project, and again, you see kind of the space here with the layout, is I think about my bedroom size versus my living room size. So with apartments, I really wanna prioritize having solid bedrooms, but I don't really need to hammer the living space as much, right? Because, these are also gonna be most likely younger professional or even student rentals. We're close to Northeastern University. So there's a lot of students here and people just graduating college. So, even though I want a decent living space, it's not like it has to be in a condo where it needs to, people are gonna fit large sectionals and they're gonna be, and it's gonna be their first condo. Like these are apartments, right? So I'm putting less emphasis on my living room space when I'm designing the space and putting more emphasis on the bedroom space, because that's typically, where people really, when they go to rent an apartment, that's something that they really think about. But that being said, we still designed for an open living kitchen. So actually where I'm standing right here is gonna be a kitchen with a living room, right? So we're still gonna have an open concept, so we'll still feel nice and open. But the other thing I think about too is with the kitchens, right? In condos, I wanna make sure I have nice, large kitchens, big appliances, right? I usually look for 36-inch fridges. I might do 30 or 36-inch ranges, depending on the type of unit. In this project right here, since it's apartments, I kind of deprioritize the size of the kitchen. I made it a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact. Again, based on my clientele that I think is gonna be renting. And in general, it's apartments, right? Like, it's not like people are gonna fall in love and need to, and they need to a huge kitchen. They just need something that's functional, workable, and it's gonna look nice. So those are the key aspects in terms of layouts. Now, as we make our way up to the 2nd floor here, again, you kind of get a feel. These are, as I said, these are gonna be 600 square foot apartments. Kitchen and living is in the back, 2 bedrooms in the rear with a bathroom in the middle. The second thing I like to think about when I'm when I'm really thinking about building apartments versus rentals, and something we just went through here, is the scope of my MEP contracts, right? So with condos, right, one of the big things we like to think about is how can we make really standout product? What are those small details that are really gonna enhance the end product, right? So on the electrical, for example, right, on condos, some of the key details I think through is, do we wanna do things like under cabinet lighting? Do we wanna do toe kick lighting in the kitchens? Do we want to do any sort of like strip accents, backlit niches in the bathroom, right? So those are all extra kind of details that we really try to think through in the condo side. Whereas on the apartment side, I would say it's usually a little bit more boilerplate, right? You're not really going to get more rent for doing those little accents, right? And people are going to probably rent your apartment one way or another. So we try not to spend that additional cost on, for example, those electrical details. Same thing with plumbing, although plumbing I'd say is generally the same. Some of the things we might cut out with plumbing would be things like a rain head, shower head in a stand-up shower. We're probably not gonna do things like a pot filler, right? So there's some things that we take out for apartments versus our condos. And then for HVAC tends to be pretty much the same, right? I mean, there's not going to be a huge difference. I mean, at the end of the day, you need heating and cooling, you need ductwork. There's not a lot of finesse detail in the HVAC space, but sometimes, you know, in the condo space, we'll do nicer grills. We'll have like linear grills that we started using in some of our condo product, but generally HVAC tends to stay a little bit more the same. Now, the third thing I like to think through in terms of scope in apartments versus condo projects is framing. So generally, actually, when I do apartments, we try to minimize the reframing as much as we can, right? Because again, you're not getting as much of a boost on your rent when you're creating open concepts or a little bit of a better layouts as you would on the apartment side, right? Typically on condos, you're gonna get that extra return better than you would on apartments. But this is actually a unique circumstance where we will reframe the entire building. And the reason is you can actually see the original staircase right here runs down right the middle of the building. And the problem with that is, you know, as I go onto the staircase, the problem with having it right in the middle is that you actually can't create a functional layout at all, right? Like we tried with our architect, and the problem was it became super choppy. The bedrooms didn't look good. The kitchen was like kind of like warped a little bit just because it's literally, you have this big stack in the middle. So what we actually end up doing, which is a little unique to our apartment projects, is we're actually gonna build a brand new staircase that's gonna be right here in the corner of the building. We'll have to meet obviously brand new code for the width, but it'll allow us to essentially get a nice flat square or rectangle, if you will, for our layouts and create better overall product. Again, I would say this is less typical on the apartment side than the condo side. The condo side, we obviously want to prioritize that. But again, just because of this existing staircases and the way this building in particular was configured, we had to do that. And finally, the last kind of scope that we try to iron out between the two different types of projects is typically demo. As you can see here, we've got most of our demo done in this particular project. And again, I would say demo is very similar logic to the framing that we're talking about. Usually in apartments, you know, we would try to maybe save some walls or maybe not fully demo it absolutely to the studs if we could help it, right? Again, because you're not really getting that extra boost you know, on the rents as you would on the condo side. But again, because of the scope of this particular project, because we're gonna absolutely reframe the entire building, build a brand new staircase, reframe this whole entire back section, we'll probably do new subfloors. Because we had to do that in this particular project, we did end up demoing everything to the studs. So you can see everything's exposed, the brick, there's an old chimney that runs through here. We had to basically demo everything to the studs, which will allow us basically to start with a new, fresh new building inside and create the layouts that we want. So that's kind of the main differences in terms of this scope, design that I think through when I'm doing different types of projects, whether it be apartments versus condos, at least with existing buildings. So hopefully that helped, guys. Hopefully that all made sense. I will keep you guys posted on this particular project. I'll do another video walkthrough as we get going, but I'm super excited about these. As I said, these are going to be apartments in an awesome location in Boston, right by the schools. We're going to be gutting these brownstones, as I said, obviously to the studs. So you'll get to see the progress. I'll keep you guys posted. See you on the other side.